Marx argued that all religion was superstition, that it was just hocus pocus, mumbo jumbo.
Former socialist author Joshua Muravchik notes that there's always a link between atheism and socialism, including its more violent form, communism. It has been that way from the very beginning. In fact, Marx and Engels' first object of attack was not so much capitalism as it was religion.
Marx and Engels' ideas, and they developed them in partnership, really started out with religion as the number one question. They came to socialism not primarily through their analysis of politics and economics, but as very young men in their angry analysis of religion, which they thought was a terrible imposture, and they wanted to tear it down. And they said that very clearly.
Russian communist leader Vladimir Lenin wrote, "We must combat religion. This is the ABC of all materialism and consequently Marxism." And so when he founded the USSR, the Union of Soviet Socialist Republics, he ordered 70,000 churches to be destroyed or changed into museums and thousands of priests to be killed. A year after Lenin's death, the Soviets founded the LMG, the League of Militant Godless, to completely eradicate Christianity. Wherever socialism goes, especially in its violent form of communism, the Church of Jesus Christ is virtually always enemy number one. But the faith managed to survive and to outlive the Soviet Union.
El movimiento revolucionario en cualquier rincón de la tierra.
Cuba also chose socialism, communism, over God-given liberty. Like many Cubans, Rafael Cruz, the father of TED, initially had high hopes for Castro, only to be sorely disappointed.
Communism requires that you destroy the concept of God because government must become your God.
And soon came the notorious Cuban death squads to eliminate many dissenters. But of course, the influence of atheistic communism was not confined to Cuba or Russia.
I was raised as a red diaper baby. My mother was Madeline Murray O'Hare. People know her as being an atheist. But the reality is that at her core, she was a Marxist, a utopianist, and a unique brand of kind of magic thought that comes out of that about how all the world's ills can be fixed by having the right people in charge and having a centrally planned society. And as a result of that, she attempted to defect to the Soviet Union in 1960. That failed. But that led to the removal of prayer and Bible reading from the schools, because it was after that failed attempt that putting me back in school, she discovered the prayer. The case to remove prayer from public schools was brought in my name by my mother.
Despite his upbringing as an atheist, William J. Murray, the plaintiff in one of the key cases against school prayer, later became a committed Christian, as well as a believer in capitalism and a critic of socialism.
It's against human nature, it's against the laws of God, it's against how we were created by God. So your only solution then is to take it by force, and if they won't surrender, then to kill them.
Critics may ask, but what about more genteel forms of socialism that don't kill an unwilling populace to force its way on the government, such as European socialism? Where does belief in God fit in a nation committed to that form of socialism?
Well, historically, it certainly seems to be that as a country becomes more socialist, it becomes more secular. Now, some would argue that that's it's the chicken and the egg question. Which comes first? You become more secular and then you become more socialist, or you become more socialist and then become more secular. The end result is the government increasingly takes the place of God. The government becomes God, and that's idolatry.